Oh, Barnabas, you drunken fool. I swear, if you find me, you're gonna wish you would have really woken up with more than just a head splitting hangover. Ugh, Bacallaro. Ugh, well, while I'm out here in the middle of nowhere because of that drunken fool, and waiting for him to pick me up, I might as well go over some of my favorite legendary equipment setup. So, let's get into it. And the first one we're gonna talk about is my favorite legendary armor set. It's called Agamemnon's armor set that focuses purely on fire damage and duration and crit chance and all of that. I mean, it's ridiculously OP. So, I highly recommend if you want to focus on a fire based fighting style, I highly recommend Agamemnon's armor set and the weapons I'm about to show you. And also, I changed the appearance on Agamemnon's original appearance. I don't like it. But this one, well, yeah, I like it. And I don't know if you do too. Let's get into it. So, with this Agamemnon's armor setup, I usually do with the engraving become easy enhanced on the head. It's the only piece of armor where you can engrave it, and the entire set also increases the burning rate and focuses on warrior and fire damage and all that. And it also helps with elemental buildup, and I mostly added melee resistance on and ignore chance to ignore half damage on most of these pieces. And like I said, it increases duration and rate, and I also added crit chance and crit damage. Those two also affects elemental damage. But on the waist, I'd recommend the legendary engraving from the Nemean Lion armor set that increases crit chance and crit damage by 25 and 50, or no, crit chance is, uh, I better just show you. Here we go. Uh, Here we go. This is the legendary engraving you get from the Nemean Lion armor set. So I highly recommend you engrave this on the waist on any armor piece. Because, like I said, crit chance and crit damage affects the damage of elemental damage types of fire and poison. And well, for me, I like to use to focus on elemental buildup or chance to ignore half damage or melee resistance. Those are the normal engravings I usually go for. And yeah, you should really focus on crit chance, regular crit chance and damage, and also this one with crit chance and damage when full health. and focus on increasing mastery levels where restore a certain percentage of health when attacking enemies. Because then, when you are basically invincible, when you're easy enhanced and the health goes to full, the those engravings activates. And the weapons I like to go with the Agamemnon's armor set are the big horn bow because of the bug that increases the left hand damage. I can show you here real quick. You'll see my warrior damage here now. It's 57,758. But when I remove the bighorn bow and choose whatever, it goes down to 0 and I exit the menu. Then we go inside again and it goes to 36,000 only. And we equip the bighorn bow again, and there you go, 57,000. And with this armor set being so hard focused on fire elemental, I personally recommend Prometheus Sika that also increases fire damage and build up and warrior and regular fire damage. And on this one you can engrave typically anything you want. I don't quite remember what engraving I like to have on this one. And then my favorite weapon of choice with Agamemnon's armor set is Typhon's axe. Unfortunately, it's an in-game store item that you have to buy. Uh, let's ignore that. Like I said, the combination with becoming easy enhanced and crit chance and damage while full health, it works really well with this weapon. And I really must say, it's nearly a must to engrave the legendary engraving weapon damage becomes fire damage. And like the one that's permanent, critical damage with fire attacks, and weapon damage comes fire damage. You're not actually dealing damage to enemies with warrior damage, but with the fire elemental damage. And with the regular crit chance damage and crit damage increase at full health, yeah, you're basically invincible with this combination. So Typhon's Axe, Prometheus Sika, Bighorn Bow, and become easy enhanced on the head, and a small combination of melee resistance, chance to ignore half damage, and crit chance and crit damage in whatever category you prefer. And now I'm going to go to a recommendation armor set and weapons for those of you who really likes to sneak around like assassins and but still like maybe use poison to weaken your enemies if you like to play like the play style. Oh, I got detected, I must escape, but the enemies are too strong. Then I'd recommend this next armor set and equipment to give a more realistic feeling if you want to play like a true assassin and weaken your enemies with poison to have a real chance to get away. And might as well jump into it right here. And it's the snake armor set. And you can get this one by hunting down the cult branch that Elpinar belongs to. And this one also focuses on duration of poison elemental buildup. It's basically the poison version of Agamemnon's armor set. And also recommend become easy enhanced and melee resistance, chance to ignore half damage, and great chance of great damage. And I recommend keeping the big horn bow for this one as well. And the weapons I like to use on this one are the Arachne Stinger and the spear Hermes Carqueon, whatever. And the spear is the version of Prometheus Sika, and the Arachne Stingers is the opposite versions of Typhon's Axe, where you attack with poison elemental damage. And I mentioned this before, poison damage decreases the enemy's armor and attack damage. And this is my absolute number one favorite weapon because you don't use warrior damage to deal damage to your enemies, but poison. And then and add and combine that with armor penetration, which you get from another legendary weapon. I will show you further on in my walkthrough where you can get this engraving, but no spoilers. And with the bighorn bow equipped with the Arachne Stingers, it's 27,000, and we equip it with this other, and we exit and enter again. It's 30,000 without the bighorn bow. Then we add on the bighorn bow. We get an increase to 47,000. Just about 10,000 less than with the compared to the Typhon's axe. But like I said, you will be attacking with poison element, and poison element once again decreases enemies' attack damage and armor, and makes them a whole lot easier to deal with and withstand damage or attacks from them. I don't know exactly how this combination could work against bosses further ahead in the story. That's something you might want to find out on your own. Like I said, the Agamemnon armor set and the weapons I showed before are my absolute favorite. And this armor set I recommend, like I said, for those of you who likes to really sneak around like an assassin and whatnot. And also if you want real, extra realism to your assassin's experience, because I don't know why people keep saying that AC Odyssey is not assassin based. Sure, maybe the developers made it so, but that doesn't mean you can't uh, create your own true assassin version of it. And to me, I personally believe you can do that with the engraving you can get from this dagger, also in-game store item. And its permanent engravings makes it so enemies can be assassinated at any level. However, your health is capped at 25%, which makes the option to make this your playstyle like a true assassin playstyle more realistic, because that makes it like you really have to be sneaky and undetected, and makes it more realistic when you assassinate enemies with one hit, because that's basically what happens in the real world. When you assassinate someone, they basically instantly die. And with that, I also recommend, if you want, with the ease enhanced engraving with that. And if you want to make it even more real and not use any abilities with that, you can engrave the legendary engraving from Blade of Yamanas onto the Knife of Dalwood with this. And then you have created your perfectly realistic own version of Assassin's playstyle inside AC Odyssey, which people keeps on saying is not a true Assassin game. And where they got that from, I have no idea. But basically, this suggestion for me is how you can create your own realistic assassin playstyle within the game. Despite what people say about the entirety of the game of not being a that AC Odyssey is not about Assassin's Creed. But hey, we all have different opinions about this, and does that matter? It's how we like and play the game that matters, not to yeah. And well, I might be using a legendary armor set that makes you truly immortal when I'll be fighting against a few bosses, because I will not lower the difficulty from Nightmare to any lower difficulty when I'm facing bosses. But I might then have to equip the legendary armor set of Perseus. I don't remember hero armor set. I don't. I don't remember quite clearly, but this armor set quite literally makes you immortal. And on this one, I'd strongly recommend you engrave nearly every armor piece with ranged resistance, because that's the only weakness you'll be having. So against everything else, you're immortal. And if you want, you can also add the engraving revive with half health once every 3 minutes, and there's another better one. If I remember, it's on the torso, and I can show you here if I can find them. Uh, let's see. Yeah, this one, and health restored on death, 2 minutes cooldown, just to be sure. And there was another one, I'm pretty sure, or oh, I don't know, I can't remember which one that was. So, but I know there are two versions of it. I just don't, or it was an ability related thing I'm thinking about. So, yeah, I hope this helps you, and I'll keep with my up with my adventure now, and hopefully Barnabas comes back and find me, and he had better pray the head splitting hangover has finished him off before I get my hands around his neck. I mean, it's what after the fight against the pirates from last time, me, Barnabas, and the crew, we celebrated with wine and singing. And of course, after that, we ended up inside a storm. And during that time, Barnabas was still somewhat drunk and mistook me for a mythical, dangerous creature of the ocean and threw me overboard. So, but like I said, he was drunk and he's basically nearly blindly driven faithful to all kinds of gods. So I can't really be too too mad at him. But these are my favorite legendary armor setup. Uh, yeah, I have a hard time finding words when I'm talking this much. But like I said, Agamemnon's armor set is my favorite, but the fire elemental is not that good for when fighting melee with your enemies, because you probably noticed in my earlier videos that when enemies either use their own fire attacks or set themselves on fire by accident, the fire spreads everywhere, bushes, tents, whatever. And when you get so that's basically what will happen nearly every time you fight with fire elemental in melee combat. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will try and pray to whatever gods that listens that Barnabas will find me soon. Reaper 7GL signing off. Well, look who decided to show up. After the storm have subsided, and the idiot who threw me overboard in the first place. Oh, Barnabas! Oh, you're drunk and you're basically nearly a blind, religious driven fool, so I can't be mad at you. I have no issues, but with the if you add drunk into that, well, it's not that good combination. Let's continue our journey, shall we?
Onward! Keep up the speed! Raise oars! Stop! We've got a fight coming!
There's something floating there. We can retrieve it. Nothing to worry about now.
Sails up now! Ready the ship for docking.
Do it again, Barnabas, and I will cut you down. Okay.
Thermopylae. They say you can't walk this battlefield without getting blood on your toes.
If you close your eyes, you can hear them. Their final war cries, before every last one of those brave Spartans perished. Their voices were silenced that day, but their story will be sung for an eternity.
You didn't bring me here to talk about dead Spartans. What's on your mind, Herodotos?
The Battle of Thermopylae still echoes in our hearts. But to stand here is to feel it in your bones.
There's nothing here but ghosts. My concerns are with the living.
Hold out your spear.
My spear? What for?
I need to know something.
Herodotos!
I'm fine. I'm fine. The stories are true. That is the spear of Leonidas. The hero's blade.
Where were Sparta's allies?
The Spartans weren't alone in facing Xerxes and his hordes. Many from across the Greek world were armed and ready to fight alongside Leonidas and his 300. But when the mighty king looked into their eyes and saw fear, he sent them home.
That sounds like madness, not bravery.
It was foretold by the Pythia that Sparta would lose either its freedom or its king to the Persians. Leonidas made his choice.
What happened to Leonidas after the battle?
Xerxes was famous for honoring warriors who fought valiantly against the Persians. But Leonidas infuriated him so much, he cut off his head and impaled it on a pike. A bloody battle ensued, and his remains were reclaimed by the Spartans and buried here. Now, however, he rests where he belongs.
In Sparta. What happened to the traitor, Ephialtes?
King Xerxes paid him well, but treachery breeds treachery. A contract was put on his head, and he died as he lived. A coward.
You knew this would happen.
I didn't know, but I did suspect. There is a place I'd convinced myself was a dream. Until now. A peculiar structure on the island of Andros. Mysterious shapes carved in stone. Like nothing I've ever seen.
You want to sail to Andros so you can show me shapes?
In my travels, I heard whispers of an ancient civilization. A people who came before. Your spear and that place are connected.
You mentioned the people that came before. Who were they?
They were not gods, but they lived far longer than any mortal, and were far more intelligent. I've seen carvings in caves, strange symbols that suggest it was this ancient civilization that created humankind, and provided them with fire.
But Zeus blamed Prometheus.
Yes. Well, perhaps his eagle has been feasting on the wrong liver.
The spear awakened to you, Herodotos. I trust you.
You understand. I will do everything in my power to help you find your mother. I promise. But first, we must sail to the island of Andros.
I'll meet you at my ship.
Welcome aboard the Adrestia, Herodotos. Will you be traveling with us?
Only for a short trip. I have business to attend to in Athens.
Herodotos is helping me find my mother.
Seeking help from the gods has put Herodotos on your path, just like they put you on mine. They work in ways beyond our comprehension, and all we can do is follow their lead.
You could be right. Herodotos and I share enemies too.
Like El Pinor?
He was, part of a very powerful group called the Cult of Cosmos that controls the Greek world through the Oracle.
Control the Oracle? Impossible! Apollo would not allow that!
Now they're looking for my mother. I need to find her before they do.
And I believe they will hurt others who oppose their views along the way.
By Hermes! The Oracle lost to corruption, and now this cult? Do we know who leads them?
I don't know for sure, but I think it might be my sister.
Your sister? By Zeus, your life is complicated.
Tell me about it.
But don't you worry. This cult of Cosmos now has 3 new enemies. And one of them fights like Athena and shits thunder like Zeus. We'll bring the wrath of the gods down upon them.
Is he always this positive?
Always. That's why I like him.
Poseidon, carry us to Athens.
First, we need to go to Andros.
To Andros, then. We're going to have to do some upgrades to my ship if we're sailing into war.
What do you mean?
Well, she's old, and perhaps not in the best condition.
You couldn't have said this before we set sail? Where in Poseidon's name are we going to get the supplies?
My father taught me that the sea takes, and we must do the same. Fortunately, there are plenty of pirate ships in these waters that we can board and take from.
What are we waiting for? Let's hunt some pirates!
Now that we have the necessary resources, we can upgrade the ship's hull. Poseidon be praised. She's in ramming shape now, like a feast in the ocean.
In position for sailing!
Awaiting your orders, Commander. Sun slid by. Shall we pick it up?
Here we go! Sails down!
Should we grab the salvage, Commander?
Go on. My mother told me that the Spartan army brought it back from the Battle of Thermopylae.
Why bring it back to life?
Leonidas was her father.
Incredible. And it gives you visions. Perhaps it's trying to guide you. Show you a path.
There's more. It helps me in battle.
What do you mean?
I can't really describe it. It's like I know what my opponent's next move will be, just before it happens.
Fascinating. This is just extraordinary.
More oars!
Don't you Andros?
Yes, here we can see the tomb of the greatest Myrmidon, Achilles.
I was more excited by the fact that Andros exports some of the most expensive marble in the world.
Is this the place with the rumored ancient civilization ruins you were talking about?
It is. Look for a large gate.
Head for open water! Full speed! We'll make landfall here!
There's much to do, and many unknowns on our horizon.
Is that a door? I've never seen anything like it before. Here it is.